Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Pond Professor here. We are back at Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch. Unbelievable, dude. You've been crazy busy.
Non-stop. We got a fence over the top of us now.
It looks incredible. So how long have you had them in here now? Full time?
Literally five days now. And they've been very, very testy with new people inside of here. Especially, I told Ed, when you're wearing pants, they do not like pants. I don't know what it is. They're doing really, really well. They're loving the whole entire enclosure. They don't like fish. They destroy every fish now. They're otters. That's what they're made to do. And Oliver is just a nutshell. But they're loving life. I mean, they're loving it.
They are a ball of energy. But I mean, look at this thing that you've created for them. I mean, we have the pond, but all the green space. You got logs. You have multiple levels.
Yeah, I otterproofed
all types of stuff. You had to, right?
And I'm sure they're still going to find things that I'm going to have to fix. They've only been here for a week, so let's see what happens.
Well, it looks like biology and everything is taking off here. I mean, we're starting to go through a little bit, got a little bit of green growth on some of the rocks.
Yeah, and there's starting to be a little bit of weeds and stuff. The tree exploded. It's looking absolutely great. Everything's looking good to my expectations. I mean, what do you think?
I think it looks
You're the professor, so you tell me what you think.
I think it looks phenomenal. It is going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, of course.
Just to get the biology kind of
I know that's how it always goes. When the water drops and everything, but now the water has been pretty stable and everything.
I think we need to take a good walk around everything and kind of just check out what we built here.
Sounds good.
Not believe how much this has changed. I mean, literally just about 6 weeks ago, this looked completely different. We came in, it was a bare piece of ground. We had to come in, we excavated everything out, we had to get everything down below grade, then we started building up the outside perimeter. We had to put in these metal panels along the fencing to give us the desired elevation. We had to get everything prepared for that incredible viewing panel window. So that was that big concrete structure that came in that we attached the glass to. Then we have our massive rainwater capture system down at the end, which is providing all the water that's recirculating through everything. So let me show you where we're at. Right up here at the very top, this is our biofalls, the starting point for the main feature. So we have a small waterfall coming into the main pond. We put in this incredible piece of oak that came from right down the street. Look at all that growth. So this thing is all of a sudden exploding into life. So that's the beauty of working down here in South Florida. Once we create the right habitat, life is going to start to come. So this is an important part of biomimicry concepts. You've heard me talk about this 1,000 times. Recreating nature, recreating the proper environment where we could actually start to get all these things that just start to occur naturally. The other thing that we have our large wetland filter all the way on the bottom. So 4 feet below the water here is actually our wetland filter system. That system has our snorkel and centipede technology down on the bottom, which is actually creating that sedimentation chamber. From there, the water flows up through all the different gravel media. This is becoming home to the microorganisms that are detoxifying and breaking down the waste that's generated by all the animals living in here. Now, Blake just told us he had 30 tilapia in here, but the otters did what otters are designed to do. They are piscivorous. These guys are fish eaters. So in their natural native habitats, they're going to search and they're going to look for all types of crustaceans, different small animals, as well as fish species. Now, in an enclosed system like this, the fish are sitting ducks because they have an enclosed system. They have little nooks and crannies where they can hide, but these otters are non-stop. They are going to search everything out, and this is a natural part of their food source, as well as some of those things that we actually want to start to bring out inside of them. So we want to create, by creating a natural ecosystem like this, it's recreating their native habitat where they could actually be what they were designed to be. And I love watching them interact. I mean, just check them out right now. He was telling us as soon as he lets them out in the morning, they come running up, they dive inside of the pond, and they start searching around. We created multiple levels inside of here. So here we are standing at the very top, but then it goes down at a slow slope going down towards the bottom. Look at them checking out over there by the waterfall, and then it cascades down into a small series of plunge pools so they can interact in different areas.
The good thing I like about it too is how it comes up, so they always have to, they're always working.
Yeah.
They don't have just a flat enclosure.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so check them out. Both Ali and Kelly playing inside the biofalls. So again, this is that upwelling area. The reason they're in there is because they're curious animals. So you have this upwelling flow of water coming up, and then there's also all this biomedia and stuff inside of there, but there's all types of little nooks and crannies, and again, that's what they do. They search. They're constantly, if you look at them, the way they work with their hands, they constantly, if you have a little hole or something like that, they're gonna put their arm inside of it because they think something lives inside of it. And that's the normal processes for them. So that's how they find food. So that's how they search things out. So they're very, very curious animals, very, very intelligent, which is why we had to create a very unique experience for them here, because you want to engage them. You want to engage them with as many sensory things as possible, because of an intelligent animal like this, if you don't, you could open them up to illnesses and different things like that because they're bored. So Blake has done a phenomenal job here, like I said, creating all these little pathways and everything for them, multi-levels. You have high areas where they can climb through trees and everything. They're actually almost cat-like. Very, very good climbers, but they're also incredible swimmers. So the combination of those two things pushed us to our limits here. So that's how we had to create all these different levels and elevations inside of here. We didn't want a flat area for them to work with. We wanted multiple layers to engage all of their senses, and it's working. Check this out. This is the main waterfall that is overflowing down from the pond itself. Because of the elevations that we have here, we have this sunken area where I'm standing right now. This has all of those aquabots. From here, we're pumping the water all the way up to the pond. We're pushing the water through our wetland filter. Then it cascades over these natural boulders and logs and all that stuff that we put inside of here. Remember what our goal was with this project. It was to recreate a flooded forest situation. So this is found in Southeast Asia. It happens during that monsoon season when they get heavy rains. The lower areas actually get flooded out, and what happens is it increases that environment and the habitat for all the animals found in those areas. And that's the home of the small-clawed Asian otter. So that's why we have all these different logs and stumps and things like that inside here. So it looks like that flooded forest feeling. The waterfall is a critical component with this because it reintroduces the dissolved oxygen from the system. Remember what we have here with our wetland filter. This is a highly aerobic system. It requires oxygen, and it requires dissolved oxygen in order for it to function properly. All the little microorganisms that are living in the interstitial spaces, so all that stuff that's coating all the little pieces of rocks and gravel, every one of those little organisms, and there's billions of them, every single one of them requires oxygen in order to respire, which is going to break down all the nitrogenous compounds. That's the stuff that actually causes green water, it causes algae, it causes water quality issues. So the more surfaces we have that are colonized by all these little microorganisms, the more dissolved oxygen we need. That's why we have this waterfall. Biomimicry concepts, once again, at their finest. The waterfall is going to reoxygenate the water as the water tumbles over those boulders. It mixes and churns up the water. It infuses the water with dissolved oxygen. It re-enters the system going back down into our aquablock system. Then from there it could repeat the cycle. Back to our submersible pumps. Remember, we use those solids handling pumps because we wanted to minimize all the maintenance here for Blake. So those pumps are going to recirculate the water. We have one pump that runs continuously. That pump has to operate the wetland filter as well as some of the underwater jets to create that upwelling effect down at the bottom of the pond. The second pump is creating this little kind of that slide rock. Remember, that's the one that we actually picked. We hand-picked it in Alabama to create this little trickling effect. This is, again, one of those little areas for the otters to interact with. The other part of that pump is going to send water all the way up to the biofilter, which is actually very minimized on this particular project. It's helping us to start the waterfall out, but the main filtration is actually happening down at the bottom in the wetland filter.
As soon as you guys left, it was my job to literally waterproof this whole entire enclosure. I don't know if you mentioned, but I literally had to rock and concrete every single rock around the whole perimeter because I know if I didn't, they were just gonna lift them and flip them all over. They're like almost like bears, but little teeny animals that are really strong. And they bite into everything, they get into everything, and it was not a lot of work. I mean, it's just something I knew I was gonna come up to do.
Yeah, yep.
You might be done, but you're really not done. In a month, there could be anything that could happen. They could find a hole or something.
Well, and I think it's the same story that happens at zoos around the world.
They have to. They just don't show it.
Exactly.
But with my channel, I like to show that stuff and
great.
show the real what's happening.
And I think that's why you have such a big following is because you show the behind the scenes stuff. But
as much as I can.
With this type of an animal, I mean, it's a huge commitment. I mean, massive. You're constantly having to engage them in all different ways and outer-proof it, make sure they're safe for years to come, because this is going to be a big enclosure here on your property. Well, I'm looking forward to following more of your videos. I know you're constantly doing updates on everything. I love seeing all the different animals, from the capybaras, the incredible aviary, all these different things that you have here. And otters are one of my favorites, so this is awesome.
There you
Looking forward to it.
Made that otter pond.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you on the next project.